It is done. And as you can see, that's the roast. I made what I call half smashed or half mashed. I just like a chunkier mashed potato with this type of meat. These are the carrots that were in the pot. And I made some homemade rolls here. You can see they're nice and soft. So let's see what we have. See if it tastes okay. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am going to do chuck roast today, or as everyone calls it, pot roast. So we have two onions that we're just gonna quarter. And so now I have three large carrots washed. I'm going to quarter these about 2.5, 3 inches. If you want more carrots, you may. Too many carrots to me tends to sweeten the roast too much for my liking. But if you like, that's what you do. Chuck those, or you can use it to make vegetable broth. It's just rough chopping. It doesn't have to be pretty. Right now I'm heating up my heavy bottom Dutch oven. And here are the ingredients. We have 3 carrots, chopped rough. We have 2 large onions, quartered. About 1/4 of each onion powder, garlic powder. We have pepper, salt. I'm using red wine vinegar, but if you don't have that, you can use white vinegar. Or if you have wine, red wine, even better. I have extra virgin olive oil, beef broth, and of course the star of the show. This happens to be an almost 3-pound chuck roast. Lots of fat in it because that's the way I like it, and it makes a nice tender meal. I've already heated up my pan, and I'm going to add some olive oil. Just a little bit, probably about a tablespoon. I'm going to let that heat up because what's going in, I'm going to just brown or slightly brown the onions and the carrots in this oil. And while I'm waiting for the oil to heat up, I'm going to start seasoning the chuck roast with the onion powder and the garlic powder mixture. You don't really have to do a heavy seasoning of this because I'm going to be putting garlic and onions in the pot. I'm going to use cracked black pepper, but you can use finely ground black pepper. I told you in other videos I am pepper crazy, so I prefer cracked pepper. And now we're just going to salt it just lightly salted. This chuck roast has been rinsed off and patted dry and allowed to sit just for a little. And I'm doing the same thing to the other side. And again, I'm going to salt it. Just lightly salt them as well. All right. Looks good. I'm going to take it out now. And I'm going to sear the chuck roast. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. And heat that up just a little more. I do have the heat on high, and I just want a slight crust that's ready to turn over. You'll see it when I turn it over. You see the browning on it, just a little. And while I'm searing on the other side, I'm just going to press those two garlic cloves in. Okay, this garlic press makes life so much easier. All right. Sometimes if I want a thicker broth, I will coat this with flour and then sear it. But today I want a thinner broth. Turn this off. And I'm going to add enough beef to cover this. I say about halfway. Cover the roast about halfway, not all the way. I tell you, that pan is hot. It's so hot, it's starting to boil it. We don't want that to happen. Okay, that should be enough. And I'm going to add a small capful of the red wine vinegar, just a small amount, just a little teeny bit. And don't mind me with the salt. I'm just going to put just a few more sprinkles on top while it cooks. And we cover this. We're at the 2-minute mark, and I'm just going to taste the broth to make sure that it's flavored correctly. If I need to add any more salt at this time, I will. Towards the end of the roasting time, I did make sure to test the broth to make sure that it was definitely seasoned. Enough for me anyway. So it was salted and seasoned perfectly. I did not need to add anything else. So let's see what we have here. And you can see it's pulled apart just by my fork. It's definitely good. You get some of the mashed potatoes with it. Now I'm going to test this bread. I know this is the roast beef. I know this is the chuck roast or pot roast video, but very buttery.